Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Ben from Be a Photographer, and in this video I want to show you guys my pre-light setup, what I'm doing for one of my clients today. And I'm just going to walk you through kind of the equipment that I have and why I do this, also why I'm shooting tethered. Of course, using Capture One. If you want tutorials on Capture One, check out my channel. But you can see I'm doing a photo shoot here. I'm practicing for a popcorn client who's coming in later today. And so I bought some popcorn at Trader Joe's and I'm just getting the lighting set up. And so why would you do a test photo shoot before your actual photo shoot? And that's so you can match the exact look that the client wants. So for instance, this client requested that we have moderate to harsh shadows. So as you can see here on these popcorn pieces, once it gets into focus, you can see that we have a really nice shadow casting on there. And what I'm doing for that is I just have the modeling light turned on this Godox Explorer 600. And so I have that triggered by the Nikon trigger on top there. But the reason I'm testing is because, well, that's my key light, but do I want to fill and what do I want for fill? So for instance, I tested it on this shot with just 9 kernels. I'm okay with just one light and it's just kind of bouncing right here a little bit, filling in slightly, but giving me a nice shadow. I'll show you guys that photo in a second. Whereas for the larger setup, where I'm gonna have multiple pieces of popcorn and then probably a bowl of popcorn, I need to fill in the shadow that's coming from the left side. So I have a couple options there. One, I can grab a reflector or fill card and pop it in on the left side to the left of the popcorn behind the laptop there. And I can fire away, and you guys will see that shot in a second. And I can see what it looks like with the fill, but then I kind of get rid of those shadows. So I have to figure out where I want to adjust the light. Or I have another light here. I have a 36-inch Octa with a Godox 200. And so I've tested out a couple different looks. I'm shooting tethered with a Tether Tools cable plugged into the Nikon D800. This camera is like 9 years old now, but it's still phenomenal. I'm shooting with a Nikon 60mm macro. And so here are the shots. So you can see here that when we're shooting just these 9 kernels, it looks pretty good. And then what I do is in Capture One, I leave my notes for myself here. So there was the power I had, 1/64th reflector. This is with a 1/16th power on the softbox, that Octabank above. Without the Octabank, the image looked like this. So you can see the shadows were much harsher, but we also didn't have as much white or fill on the background. And so I decided that I'm going to show the client both of these and see what their graphic design team wants. Now I have a couple other images here where I tested on the bigger pile. So we had one light here, then I had a light and the reflectors. You can see the reflector there. So it's bouncing in a lot more light, so the shadows are not as harsh. We also have more pop on the popcorn kernels themselves. And then here it is with 2 light sources. So you can see that is the brightest. And the reason that I test this is so I can make sure everything's working. All my equipment's working. I can make sure that the image is in focus where I want it to be. So for instance, I was shooting at f9 for most of these images. I decided to then change to f13. So if I keep going, I actually went to f14 here. And so then I had to brighten up my lights and I could also adjust the images. And so that is the purpose of a pre-light. So there is pre-lighting visualization. So there are visualizers you can use online and kind of make lighting charts and tables, but this is what I do for my clients personally when I have the time, if I have not done a similar shoot before. So in this case, client wanted very particular look for the images, as they should. It's very nice when they send a shot list and they know what they want. So I have my one light set up there. Then I know if we want a brighter image, we're gonna throw in this second light. And so I have various different setups there. I also have an arm on my tripod so I can do direct bird's eye view overhead shots. And that is it. So hopefully if you are preparing for a photo shoot, you watch this video, it gives you some ideas. So things you should do: test, take at least one test photo to make sure all the equipment works. I know it sounds obvious and ridiculous, but do it. Sometimes your memory card will be broken. Sometimes the lens doesn't want to focus, etc. So it's better to have everything in your knowledge before the client gets there. So if you have an issue, you can make sure you take care of it. Secondly, you can test out various lighting options. And if you don't have the cable or the ability to shoot tethered, take some pictures, take your memory card back to your computer and look full screen. Make sure everything's in focus. For instance, this image, even from this distance, looks nice, but as I zoom in, this kernel row in the back is actually not as sharp as I'd like it to be. And so I'll probably even go up to F16, or what I might do is focus stack the images. So when you have a client, test, test, test. Everything's a learning experience for you. If you have any questions, leave them in a comment down below. Hopefully this video is useful for you in some way, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.